Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, someone who has had an impact on U.S. farm policy for decades. Former Ag Secretary John Block sat down with us recently. We talked about the Farm Bill, trade, and just the overall attitudes going on right now in the nation's capital. We'll also have features from the Kansas Soybean Commission and Kansas Department of Agriculture, plus our weekly updates from the Kansas Livestock Association and Paragon Ag Advisors. The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919, kfb.org. Kansas Wheat Commission, leading in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat, online, kswheat.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future of Kansas corn, online, kscorn.com. In agriculture news from agview.net, applications to obtain a license to participate in the new Kansas Industrial Hemp Research Program are now available on the Kansas Department of Agriculture's website. In April of last year, the Kansas legislature passed a statute that enabled the Alternative Crop Research Act to go into place. It charged the KDA with implementing the new Industrial Hemp Research Program. This program allows for the licensing of growers, distributors, and processors of industrial hemp as a part of a research program. Now, to be considered for a research license for this 2019 growing season, applicants need to submit a research license application, including a research proposal, along with all required attachments, the applicable fees, and fingerprint cards and waiver forms to submit to a state and national criminal history check. All application materials must be submitted in complete form to the Department of Agriculture by Friday, March the 1st, to be considered for a license. The applications then will be reviewed and background check information will be submitted to the Kansas Bureau of Investigation. Then applications that meet all those requirements will be approved for licensure. Upon conditional approval, applicants will be required to pay the license fee, and then there will be issued a license. Much more information about this new Industrial Hemp Research Program in Kansas can be found at the KDA Industrial Hemp website, which is agriculture.ks.gov/industrial hemp. Well, more than 200 runners, cyclists, and triathletes have joined the Kansas Beef Endurance Team, or KBET, in January. Membership in the Chekhov-funded group has more than tripled since 2016 and is now the second largest team beef program in the country. You see athletes wear team beef jerseys while competing in races and draw large crowds. Those team members claim that the jerseys open the door for peer-to-peer conversations about the positive role that lean beef plays in athletic training, maintenance, and recovery. The Kansas Beef Council relies on the KBET members to help deliver the message that beef is considered an excellent source of 10 essential nutrients necessary for a healthy and active lifestyle. Stay with us. You're watching the Kansas Ag Report. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web, oldeseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. More at ksgrainsorghum.org. Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News. A reliable and relevant source, agview.net. We're pleased to be joined now by former USDA Ag Secretary John Block, farmer from Illinois. Mr. Secretary, always good to see you, and always enjoy your sage advice.
Well, good luck.
Well, okay, let's talk about it. Washington has definitely had its challenges, and you've been one that likes to tell it like it is. We have really kind of boogered things up when it comes to ag trade.
Now we're in trouble right now, and this started off kind of soft in the beginning. Then we had this trade group from farm broadcasters, which I was on, went to China, met with Chinese, met with our ambassador to China, and talked everything through. And it just is a great trip to China, but this whole Chinese problem has gotten worse and not better. And right now, maybe we are at a point where both sides want to get it fixed. I don't know. We know that there's a scheduled meeting between President Trump and Chinese President Xi in Argentina, like a month from now or something like that. And I hope that they can get something done. From what I see and read now, I think it has started to hurt China a little bit. So maybe that'll give China a little incentive to find a resolution to it. And even when we were there talking with our ambassador, they were all quite clear to us that China is doing a lot of cheating and manipulating everything. And they've been part of this World Trade Organization for 20 years or something, and they still have not adhered to the rules. So, maybe it's time they did, and maybe we need to twist our arm to get them to come around, but we're paying a price for it.
Right. Let's talk on the domestic side, the Farm Bill. You've been through a lot of those battles, not only as Secretary, but pre and post that time. Have you seen anything like we have now?
Oh yeah, every time we do a farm bill, it's the last minute. Even the 1985 farm bill that I spent a lot of time working on, we didn't get that thing signed until just a few days before Christmas. So I think we'll get it done, but there's no guarantee. It could blow up, but I don't see the Republicans were pushing so hard for work rules for food stamps. But the Republican House has lost a lot of leverage. So I don't think they can push that as hard as they were before. And finally, we have to have a meeting of the minds and wrap it up.
Talking with John Block, former Ag Secretary. We'll take a quick break and be back with more in just a moment. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. And AgView.net, covering news and views in the Beef Belt and Western Corn Belt. Reliable and relevant, AgView.net.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device, news and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News, a reliable and relevant source, agview.net. We're talking with John Block, who is former Ag Secretary from the Reagan administration. Mr. Block, you have, since your time in there, you have spent a lot of time working in the food industry, being, I guess, an advocate before there was such a term as being an advocate. As you see the public continue to want more and more, are we as agriculture or food production doing what we can, or are we still kind of dragging our feet to give the consumers everything they want?
Well, it depends on what we're talking about. In terms of food, we're giving them a lot of food. And food prices the last 2 years, 16 and 17, actually declined. And food prices this year are supposed to be around 1% increase. So we're giving them a lot of bargains. The other thing is, though, there's a lot of pressure for help people to get food, like food stamps and other kinds of programs for people, and that pressure's not going to get softer. It's going to stay hard, and that's one reason why there's pressure to have some work requirements. Say, if you're going to get free food, maybe you ought to just do a little work, so maybe you could find a real job.
Sure.
So that's what Republicans are pushing, or at least some of them.
Right.
But I support that idea. Okay. But I'm afraid it's probably not going to get much traction now, since Republicans have lost some of their leverage.
Well, let's talk about that. As you and I are talking, we're just after the midterms and getting things kind of filtered out. A new Congress, 2 more years. We'll have a presidential election. I guess at this halfway point, this first term, give us your grade card, not only of how the president's working, USDA, other things in the administration, and moving maybe some of your ideals forward, if at all.
I think he's done a very good job, almost surprising how much he's done. A lot of regulations have either been pulled back, or the regulations that Obama is pushing have been stopped in their tracks. So that's a good thing. We got tax reform. Tax reform has cut taxes for a lot of people, in fact, most people. And one important thing to family farms is that they've doubled the area that you can have free on the death taxes. So we don't get hit with death taxes as much. So there's another good thing. I think that I don't think they've done enough yet, though, in terms of immigration and immigration policy. And Trump can't get his wall built, can't get the legislation changed, and we're not getting much done there. We do need to get something done. A lot of farms need more labor, but we want legal labor. We want legal labor, and we need to get it figured out so that we can have that. So there's a lot to do yet, but I think we've got quite a bit done already.
Well, again, just an honor to talk to you. Always good to see you up and around, and letting folks know what's still on your mind. So appreciate the time.
Thank you very much. Great to be with you.
Good to see you. Yeah. Well, former Ag Secretary John Block has joined us. We'll have more coming up on the Kansas Ag Report.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety. That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News, a reliable and relevant source. agview.net.
Last month, the European Union announced it would accept the U.S. Soybean Sustainability Assurance Protocol as a voluntary scheme under its Renewable Energy Directive. That recognition allows the oil from certified soybeans to be feedstock for biodiesel production in the EU. Building on the widely accepted SSAP, the new program addresses the specific requirements of the RED regulations, including restrictions on land conversion with commitments to auditing, compliance, and reporting. The European Commission's recognition is an important milestone in documenting the overall sustainability of U.S. soy. It will enhance marketing opportunities in that and other global markets. To meet the RED's specific requirements, the SSAP has a number of innovative components, including a self-declaration by farmers, attesting to good agricultural practices, and restrictions on land use conversion. Independent third-party auditing and compliance support the self-declaration. U.S. soybean farmers' best management practices and the latest technology have helped reduce greenhouse gas production and soil erosion. Each year, the Federal Agriculture Department supports U.S. farmers' sustainability practices with more than $5.6 billion in conservation funding and about 23,000 compliance audits. You can learn more at kansassoybeans.org/sustainability on the web.
The Kansas Department of Agriculture works to strengthen and expand the economic impact of Kansas farmers, ranchers, and agribusinesses. One significant area for potential growth is in the international market. The International Trade Team at KDA can help you in marketing your business overseas, from assisting with your overall international marketing strategy to hosting foreign buying teams and providing opportunities for you to participate in international trade missions. We were recently awarded a State Trade Expansion Program grant, or STEP grant, to focus on 3 main areas in 2019: export training, market entry support, and foreign trade shows and trade missions. 4 KDA STEP grant trade missions are planned for 2019. In March, a team will go to Thailand to look at livestock genetics and equipment. In April, a team will go to the Agritech Expo in Zambia. In May, a group will attend Foro Mascotas Pet Food International in Mexico. And in June, a team will attend Agro 2019 in Ukraine with a focus on agriculture equipment. In addition, KDA has planned 2 trade missions in collaboration with U.S. livestock genetics export to Argentina in July and to Uruguay in September to provide an opportunity for Kansas purebred cattle producers and allied industry to develop relationships with livestock producers to increase market opportunities for U.S. and Kansas beef and dairy genetics. Applications for the trade missions are due about 2 months prior to the travel date. To learn more about international marketing, contact Suzanne Ryan Numrick, the KDA International Trade Director, or visit our website at agriculture.ks.gov/international for details about upcoming trade missions and other resources to help you explore international opportunities.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the Soybean Checkoff built a better variety. That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
The 2019 KLA Young Stockmen's Academy met for its first session February 12th and 13th in Topeka. The class consists of 20 young cattlemen and women from across the state. Merck Animal Health is again the exclusive sponsor of the program. During the two-day session, attendees participated in advocacy training, learned more about the legislative process, and heard from the KLA staff about the array of member services the association provides. As part of an interactive training session led by KLA staff, Jamie Lindemood, and WIBW Topeka farm broadcaster Kelly Lenz, the group was given an overview of the importance of being an advocate and the various tools available to help them reach consumers. Lindemood shared with the group how she has implemented advocacy on their family operation near Eureka by helping coordinate a ranch tour each spring for Wichita consumers. In addition, YSA members attended a Senate Agriculture and Natural Resources Committee meeting at the Capitol and participated in a financial planning seminar conducted by KCO ISOM. The group also took part in KLA's legislative meeting where they and other members determined positions on individual bills under consideration by the Kansas legislature. The second installment for the YSA class will be held in May. Members will travel to the Kansas City area for an in-depth look at the agribusiness and retail beef industry.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News. A reliable and relevant source, agview.net.
Hello, my name is Aaron, and I'm here to talk about the cash grain markets. Kicking it off with corn, we have been seeing some slight improvements in basis in the Kansas markets. I would expect to see slight increases in basis continue as we get closer to summer and into June and July. I am not confident there's going to be any major basis rallies as the market continues to trade sideways, but may fluctuate with the market and with the end user's needs. As I mentioned last time, there is a planting intentions report coming out at the end of March that will give traders an idea of what to expect this fall. It sounds like we might be able to expect a larger switch to corn, which may not play well for basis later on. Less than ideal conditions such as snow and mud have been keeping producers from hauling much lately. You could possibly see some decent quick ship bids pop up if hauling continues to be slow. Beans are getting a little life in them as basis has picked up slightly. Basis is still poor in my opinion, but there are opportunities available for those with good buyers nearby. China's sales continue to be lackluster, which definitely need to get this bean market into motion. Wheat continues to be quiet lately, Buyers are still willing to purchase it, but themselves are in the process of cleaning out their wheat stocks to prepare for the upcoming harvest. Basis in the country really isn't that bad, and getting a little new crop sold may not be a bad idea. Protein premiums are still not showing up, and we still think that pre-harvest we could see that comeback for old crop bushels. If you have any questions on this and are looking for assistance in moving your cash grain, please give me a call at 888-452-8751. Thanks and have a great day.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News, a reliable and relevant source, agview.net. Well, that's the show this week. Be social with us online, KansasAgReport.net. Be sure to like our new Facebook page, Kansas Ag Report Television Show, and follow us on Twitter. The show is also in podcast form on Castbox.fm. Search Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.